Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by Refracted Curvature, Neil, the Adam Meakin, 10th Man, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Good morning, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
One more bing bong? No? Good morning. Good to have you all. Strange start to the live show with doorbells going. I don't know whose that was, but there we go. Any evidence of a physical
I'm
gym?
sorry, I turned the volume down. The birds now. I should be good.
It's just yeah, I opened all the lines and it went bing bong, bing bong. I don't know why. Anyway, let's not destroy the intro to this live show.
Too.
Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? That's the horizon formerly known as Earth curve.
No, but we have physical evidence that Arwen is here.
Yes,
Hey, Arwen.
and I have limited curvature. But not of the Earth-based variety, though.
Sorry, what are you telling me?
Curvature can only be found on people, especially ladies, not on Earth.
And you're disclaiming your lack of curvature.
It's actually.
Well, I'm not a
turning
lady, so I only have partial curvature.
It's turning into a waste of time.
What?
I think he's shooting from the hip with this one. It's not going.
No curvature.
To.
The
Nice,
horizon is
Nathan.
not geometric. Nobody ever claimed the horizon was Earth curvature.
The Dutch will
Nobody
get that one
expects
later.
to see geometry.
Yeah, they do. They've got a mathematics called the Earth curve calculator, where they very specifically say you're going to see a hill getting in the way of boats and buildings and stuff with a physical ascribable value, based on an exclusive use or the exclusion of perspective, hijacking thereof.
But that's only in the model, though, not in the real world.
In the real world, we don't see Earth curve because the horizon isn't Earth curve. However, if you reify a model called Earth curve into your existence, then you will believe that the horizon is a physical leading edge of a sphere called Earth curve, blocking boats and buildings calculable in the Earth curve maths. In reality, it isn't. That's correct, Darwin. We got there. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, everyone.
Good to have you.
Good to be here.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Well, if anybody ever wanted to assert Coriolis as a proof, first they would have to assume that Earth was a sphere with a radial value, and then they'd have to assume it's a non-inertial turning reference frame.
I got one for you. The Georgia Guidestones actually proved the Earth was stationary. It's now a new conspiracy that they turned it down because it had a hole that was directly pointed at Polaris and it never changed. Just like the pyramids.
Okay. So, because you can see a hole, because there's a hole in the Guidestones that you can see that Polaris never moves from its position as the North Star. How does that? It doesn't in the heliocentric model either. I don't follow how that would disprove or prove a flat Earth or a non-rotating Earth in this instance. Just explain how.
Well, there would be
Polaris not moving
in the
proves that.
heliocentric model. There is supposedly a wobble, right? There's a
but
wobble.
The precessional change would take thousands of years for it to be out of alignment in.
Right. Well, nobody's
Hold
ever
on,
proved
Alwyn.
that.
Can you
one
just let Adam
being
get
there
to the end of their appeal to the future fallacy? Go ahead, Adam.
Well, that would be it. But it's not like it is Stonehenge that's been there for reportedly thousands of years. It's fairly new. So any alignment that would set up would be as Nathan correctly says, it'd be an appeal to the future, wouldn't it? That it would or would not show procession.
Remember when you'll remember this, Adam. This is 2015. First got here, and the people who'd come across flat Earth were just by nature questioning everything, and Jeranism was questioning the validity of the claims about Stonehenge. And what he got back from all the people were, no, it's been there for a very long time. It's been exactly how it is. It's never been moved. We can't even figure out how to move them. Modern man couldn't even move them. They're so big and blah, 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 all this stuff. And he came back with, here's some pictures of men moving them. With fairly basic tools.
With cranes and then cementing them into the ground to stop them moving.
Right.
Here's a picture of Stonehenge in the 1700s as a complete pile of rubble.
Right.
Yeah,
But it just really amused me, the consistency of that particular argument with Jaren. How dare you even assert that they could possibly even be moved? They haven't been for thousands of years. Here's a picture in the last 20 to 30 years in reasonably high definition of them being moved by men. Here you go. And he got crap for that too. And he's like, I'm just presenting it as I see it. This is what I've got. What do you want? Is pictures of them being moved.
Yeah, I think the whole site was moved from one place, from its original position to its current position. And I think it's the 50s. Well, maybe it was before the 50s.
It wasn't relocated. It was just a lot of the fallen stones, the sarcens that were re-erected. I think some of the tops were replaced. It was just basically a wreck. It wasn't as we see it today. I'm just trying to see if I can find some of the pictures because
They reconstructed it basically into what they thought it would have originally been.
Parking at Stonehenge is quite expensive, and then they've roped off the site. So if you're just a tourist, you can't go around and actually look at the stones, but you can at the solstice. So I've been several times with various girlfriends to actually go into the stones and experience them. Although my wife did recently tell me that they've started to let people in if you pay more, something like that. Anyway, at the time I went one of the solstices, we got there really early and it was just a touristy time and I wanted to have a look around. So I couldn't find the car park. Now, when you're driving, if you're a person who drives a car, you'll know what I'm talking about. You're paying close attention to the signs, you're looking at the road, you're making sure you don't run anybody over, you're just paying attention to that. Where's the car park? Where are we going to stop so I can take in what's going on around me? So I pull the car in to the car park after finding the sign for it, park up. I get out, and the first guy I see, I go, excuse me, and he's like, no, money for parking. No. I'm like, no, let's not concern ourselves with that at this moment. Higher priority, where are the stones? He's like, what are you talking about? I said, where are the stones? I want to know where they are. Which direction do I go? Yeah, I'll give you the money for parking. Where do I go? He's like, you're having me on. You just pulled in a car. I was like, that's not what I asked. Where are they? Just tell me, point in a direction. So the guy's chuckling away while I'm asking him this because he knows I'm serious. Right, and then he literally puts his hand on my back and ushers me with my girlfriend following up the little hill that we've just come down the car park into. And as I walk up the hill into the entrance I've just driven into, you see the stones coming over the top of the hill, and they are immense. They're massive. It's hard to describe how big they are. Vast. They're really big. But I didn't see them because I was paying attention to the signs of the car park. And this guy was like, I've never seen that ever happen before. You can park for free. So he gave me free parking because I hadn't noticed the stones pulling in. Anyway, that's my story.
The top.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Top's being put back on.
Yeah, you get a load of crazy hippies there at the solstice. So you can go and you know, if it's a clear day, you get to see the sunrise between the stones, and there's all people with bongos and lots of crazy crusty hippies all smoking ganja and doing what crazy hippies do. But yeah, it was quite a lot of fun. A lot of people chanting and what various different, what I would call religious people or seemingly religious people doing their do. Yeah, it's all very interesting.
There's a lot of people turn up to the likes of Stonehenge at the solstices, and that were false druids. They turn up and they're just making up stuff. It's just like witchcraft type stuff that they're just adding to and making up. And they start wearing robes and all this other stuff. And they don't know what they're at. They're just crazy people. There was a bit of that going on here, but it was kind of sorted at the Newgrange and Hillatara and that, but it had to be dealt with. It's just like, you know, you're just kind of crazy people. You've no business being here. You don't know anything about anything, and you're just turning up as if you are ancient, you know, and knowledgeable, and you're just banging bongos and making noise.
Ancient LARPers. Right? They're like, we are the original ones, but they're just LARPers. Is that what you mean, Brian?
Yeah, they're just usurpers. They don't even know they're usurpers. You know what I mean? They're just trying to be things that they're not. You're not a druid, lad. You know what I mean? You're not. Who wants to hang around with you? What knowledge have you got that's going to matter? You know, the druids were people of knowledge, where people from overseas and in other countries in Asia and everything would come to talk to the druids. Like, who's going to come from China to talk to some of these idiots?
They were not very theatrical in nature. They weren't like, oh, look at me, I'm so druid, I'm so special. No, they would keep it as secret as possible because they understood like how dangerous that power really is, the power of knowledge and insight.
I think it's if I'm what you're saying, Bri, is we these people ascribe to be druids, but we have druidism as we perceive it today is a modern Victorian invention of what's perceived to be based on Merlin or kind of stereotypes like get a fix from Asterix, you know, those kind of or the standard, you know, images you see, but there's no actual real history of what these people believed. It'd be, to me, the druids are the ancient inhabitants that were wiped out, their history destroyed. Hence why you link it to Ireland, because that's the origin. The UK is an overflow of the original point, Bruna Boyne, Newgrange. But to know what their theology was, we don't know. We've only got the monoliths really left to guess.
Right.
Sun rising, dewy, spring and autumn equinoxes. A represents sun rising, northeast at summer solstice, southeast at winter solstice, like it will do today. In about 20 minutes, half an hour, cloud cover's okay. Let's come through, we'll see. I'll do it later. And it O represents the earth going around the sun, taking people view of that. And because we're an end to fertility religion, we also say that the I represents the talent of the soul of God. The A makes us gorgeous earth goddess. And the O is the time of cosmic lovemaking, from whence we all see. So, take just a deep breath, put your hand up, and 3 letters I, there you know, bring that as long as you like.
This is a live show, Nathan.
Can somebody in Discord sort that out?
I think that's a video.
Playing the chanting from Stonehenge.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
You've heard of the ancient Stonehenge choir? Well, this is it. You are it. They do something. And again, just get it full welly. Well, you're fantastic, Senator Squire. Thank you very much. This is lovely. All right. Well, now, if we do a traditional invocation to the sun, even though it's behind the clouds, we know the clouds later, and to the earth. And should we do it one line at a time? If I do a line, and you all do a line? Yeah. Is that all right? Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are as much real druids as
Well, in that
Catholics
case-
are real Christians.
Queen of the Heavens.
There you go. So that was me at the solstice. Fun.
The reason that there was no Druidic knowledge available is because they made a point of never writing anything down. Because written word can be manipulated and stolen. Whereas if it's only mouth to ear or whatever, it's only person to person, verbally, the knowledge was never written down. So the only people that would have it, they would never write it down. Even if they did have it, still have it now. They never write it down. So you'd never get to study it or learn it or view it or whatever in a written form. And there's probably a lot of it that, I don't know, you'd have to have it taught to you. You wouldn't even understand it maybe written down. I don't know. But they,
Right,
never wrote anything down.
One
Is
sec, Owen,
that
just one
knowledge-
sec. Shout out to Unitox Femu, who says summer is coming for 2 weeks in the UK. Yay! Thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry, Owen, go ahead.
Right. So most of the knowledge was passed on by verbal tradition, right? The teacher to student, but you could also just have natural discoveries, right? Own impulses through the purity of connection with God and all that. You can rediscover things, right? The mind works very similar. So people rediscover the same things over and over again, no matter how many times everything has been forgotten.
Well,
Do you want a wild stab in the dark at what they believed? I would suggest if you follow the history of Egypt, the history of Ireland, the formations of after Akhenaten and the return to the west, as the Egyptians describe it, which is where they go to Ireland, I would suggest that the Druidic religion would closely resemble that of the monotheistic religions of ancient Egypt.
What?
So
I would say it
after
went the other way.
Akhenaten, who is the monotheistic god, there's the destruction of the Egyptian Empire, and what you see is them returning west, which is where you see the rhesus negative bloodlines. So this story is documented. They stop in the Basque region, again rhesus area, and then they return to Ireland, to Scotia, to Hibernia, to Ireland, which is where Scotia forms, and then they go and invade Scotland, and that's where the name Scotia sticks for Scotland. But these are all of those tribes that have the origins in ancient Egypt. So if I was going to stick a mystery cult on them, then I would be looking at where they originated from, which would be the monotheistic Akhenatans, destruction of the old religion. So just to bring in one creator god, the Arton, which is what I follow.
Well, the Druids also had a connection to Asia. The emperor of Japan has a connection, like that bloodline has a connection to the Druids. The Empress of Japan, she can speak fluent Gaelic, and she also plays the harp.
Now they're all gingers, Brian. That's why, mate. All of them.
Well, they're not, are they?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are they?
Japanese. So the I forgot the name. The originals are fair-skinned, ginger,
Actually, yes.
and dark
You're
hair.
right, Aaron.
The Iona. If you look at the ancient Chinese emperors, they're ginger. Look at the ancient Egyptian mummies, they're ginger. So, and that's very strongly with the rhesus negative links, as well as green and blue eyes. But it goes back to
sorry
Ireland.
for cutting in on you.
But it all goes back to Ireland, doesn't it?
Yeah, there seems to be some kind of a connecting point I don't know. I mean, we can only speculate about it because they didn't even write down what the knowledge they had, whatever it was. So we can only speculate about it. But I think I know that connection there. It must have been like there must be historians that either look past it or they've kind of put it into the closet, because that would surely mess with history, wouldn't it?
Well, Brian, if they didn't write it down, they must have drew it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's brilliant. It is. That's probably the best pun to date.
Well, just on the original question that was asked that brought this up was, is there any evidence of axial rotation? Now, the best question is there any evidence that we're not stationary? Isn't it?
Yeah, I think what to paraphrase, you're saying that the claim that we're spinning or on a non-inertial turning reference frame in order to be able to experience Coriolis effect as the globe claims, that's an extraordinary claim. So therefore, the burden of proof is that much higher. I mean, the claim in the first instance requires the burden of proof be on the claimant that we're spinning. Now, there's no way that you can make a claim that Earth being stationary is a positive claim. To assert that the ground you're standing on is moving is a pretty far-fetched claim, extraordinary in nature, and definitely requires some extraordinary evidence to go with it, as opposed to the half-arsed, we'll observe Coriolis effect if we don't quite detail what that really is and give you a vague idea about how it happened in a football or a bullet, but definitely doesn't happen to planes. You know, that's not extraordinary evidence, that's crap. That's followed up by anti-flat earthers telling us how we won't see the effect. Again, that's definitely not extraordinary evidence to back the extraordinary claim that we're spinning. No positive requirement for evidence when you say we're stationary.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's literally no evidence that we're not stationary. You know, and there's no evidence that it's not a horizontal plane. You know, this is the thing, isn't it? Fighting an uphill battle by fighting with their arguments that it is the opposite of what it just presents itself as.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
It's over there at that angle, and it's shining beautiful.
It got almost to our zenith here a couple of days ago, like right above us in the UK. Really nice.
What was right above you?
The
Can
sun.
you tell me what it is?
The sun was at our
What's it
zenith.
made of?
I don't need to give any further explanations or justifications for what I've stated when I say the sun was at our zenith a few days ago. It was. It's just a fact.
It's a non-local hologram.
What? Hologram?
Let's move on.
What do you mean, let's move on, baller? No.
No,
That's
not a
that's
baller.
a claim. Let's
Not
see.
a baller. It's
That's
not a ball claim.
Yeah, just comparing you to a baller who's now rumpusing the fact that I've called you a baller.
I'm not rumpusing. I'm just
You're not
calling out your
justifying your
straw
claim.
man of calling me a baller.
Yeah, we're going to dwell on this. It's baller tactics 101, right? Major on the minors.
You straw man me again with the baller.
Yeah,
Baller
throw out
tactics?
random fallacies. Okay.
What were we talking about again?
This is going to take at
Distance
least
to
3
the
minutes
sun?
to get back to the claim he's made. Hopefully he can put enough distance between him and the claim he's made for him to not have to justify it if I forget. I won't. How much
The
distance?
distance over sun is over there.
Hologram I heard. Did anybody else hear hologram? Is it just me?
Yeah, I heard it.
Right.
I just
That's a
asked what
positive
it was,
claim.
what it was made of.
Yeah, just look it up in Greek because that wasn't a physics-based claim.
Sorry, look up hologram in Greek. This is your burden of proof reversal fallacy, is it, Arwin? Or why am I looking up anything? Hologram,
I
you
didn't
say?
make a physics
What
claim.
evidence is there that it's a hologram?
It's just a description. It's not a physics claim. I don't have the evidence to make a physics claim for it. I could potentially get that, but I don't have it right now.
A hologram is a physical manifestation in light.
Not if it's non-local.
Oh, God.
But you didn't hear that part. You just got hung up on the
Okay, okay.
hologram and you thought you had a little baller hook
Sorry,
you could
what's-
slap me
what's-
with, didn't you?
Isn't local a scale? Isn't it just a convention?
Non-local
What do you mean
hologram.
local?
Yeah, everything
Non-local
non-local.
Everybody-
hologram.
Could anybody give an example other than the sun of a
No.
non-local hologram?
No, he's
Celestial
Get my head
light.
around it.
Celestial lights are the
moon.
only example that I have.
You're saying it's just a description, but if the description is self-contained within the explanation, then you can't just give the justification it's just a description, or you can just look it up in Greek.
Yes, you can.
Well, you can't because
Can
there's
I
nothing
say
comparable.
something?
There's nothing comparable. It's a self-contained description you've assigned to it with two words, non-local. Well, local could be a sliding scale in a convention that you assign arbitrarily after the fact and have done already. And hologram, I know what hologram means. I just want you to give us some proof that it is hologrammatic in nature. But you aren't. You're just saying, no, it's just a description. Or
How
look it up
can
in
you
Greek.
do- how can
or
you do that?
non-local means that somehow that's anything that's not literally touching my eyeball, I can say is non-local.
No, that's not. That's it's non-local in the context of holographics, of holograms, of light-based apparitions that give the appearance of a locality, right?
No, it isn't.
You have
No,
local
it isn't.
holograms. These
No,
we
it isn't
can
because-
make.
I thought you'd paused.
I'm not done
No,
yet.
just let me. Give my. I thought you'd paused. Adam's already covered that because you've self-contained it within your non-local hologram with nothing comparable. So you can't now flip it back to being a description within hologrammatic explanations because it isn't. It's self-contained within your description of the sun. So no, it isn't referenceable to holograms
But
and their descriptions.
their description.
Yeah,
Who's
their
they?
definitions. That's what you've just done. You've just said it is comparable. You just look at the definitions of how holograms are defined. But Adam's already qualified. I'm just repeating myself. You've said it's specifically not comparable to anything else.
Well, we might find something like that out there. I haven't, though. I mean, the only other thing I can compare to it as a non-local hologram would be a rainbow, but it is very fair to say that it is directly derived from these non-local holograms, so it's part of it. But the celestials are the only non-local holographic effect that I've ever perceived.
What's a local hologram
Derived
then?
effects like
Can't do
rainbow.
that either, Brian. Adam's cut that revenue off. Okay, I think
Yeah,
we're done
that's what I
here.
was wondering.
Fine,
Like, how can
whatever.
you give a location?
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Sorry.
My bad.
No, you go, you go.
I was just tutting and moaning.
I know you do.
Yeah, how
Do holograms?
Hold on, whoever's
on, John, go
interrupting. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm just saying, how can, do holograms have a location? Do you know what I mean? A local and non-local? How does that work? The whole point
Well,
of
a
a hologram is
hologram-
it's an illusion.
Yes, but they can, within the illusion, have the appearance of a location. Or, when they don't, they're non-local and they always have the same apparent distance towards the observer. They're
Oh, yeah,
never
The
you're
non-local.
only-
hologram has a location. However, the things within the hologram appear to be dislocated from the apparent location, from the actual location of the hologram itself. But they have a location. It's just as you look at the hologram, they'd be offset from that exact specific location. So they'd be non-specific to the location of the hologram in terms of how they appear. But they're not. They're exactly there on my credit card, aren't they?
Yeah,
Right, but that's not a real hologram. That's
Yeah, it
just
is.
a slight
The
hologram.
only hologram I know.
effect.
What's another hologram then? Because that's that. If I want a real world example of a hologram, that's what I would cite. So what's a real hologram then?
Well, not that. That's only a partial hologram. It's not a full hologram. It's partial hologram. It's about as holographic as a fresco, a painting, or a sculpture would be on a building, right?
Okay.
It isn't. It isn't actually holographic. It just seems a little bit.
It- what-
has an
what-
effect.
What is then? So that I can have a definition from you then. Because I've gave you what a
I
hologram
thought we
is
dealt
in the
with
real
this.
world. and
I
you
thought we
said
dealt
that's
with this
not
based,
it.
based on Adam's objection, which is to say that you can't. I said it twice. Right, if you're saying it's non-comparable because it's non-local to other holograms, then Adam asking you to qualify it with a different one is never going to come to fruition for Arwin, is it? Because he can't. He's already disclaimed that. So I don't really know where this is going. It's getting frustrating.
Well, what I was going to say is it's kind of hidden in the term physical, isn't it? Like, how do you qualify physical? Because if it's existing outside the mind, does anyone doubt the sun exists outside the mind?
What do you mean, outside the mind? You mean, should I die, the sun would vanish? Do I believe that the sun only exists in my mind, therefore it wouldn't exist if I didn't exist? You're saying, do I believe the contrary to that?
Right. Does the sun exist in the mind or in
No.
the physical world?
I think it exists
There
in the
is a
physical
light
world.
effect in the physical world, and the mind makes a hologram out of it based on the parameters.
There's another bulb claim. Now I've got to back 2 claims.
I'm sorry.
But I was just going to say, because it kind of comes down to with the examples you have to give of saying it's a projection without the projector.
Who's claiming there's no
There has to be
projector?
a projector. I just don't know how it works. I think that the projector is the realm itself. I think it just is a manifestation.
Adam, I'd high five
Oh.
you. Adam called that a split second before it came out his mouth.
And more importantly, wouldn't the necessary antecedent of a projection be the thing that's projecting it? Otherwise, it wouldn't be a projection, would it?
Well, I'm not calling it a projection. The projection is description
Oh,
that
I
I
was
give
suggesting-
when inquired. Can I finish? When inquired to the cause of it, which I do not have.
No. My point was to John in terms of you saying there's not a source for the projection, but by definition, the word projection means it's been projected from something else.
Right. And it's like saying a hologram without a source, it's the same thing.
Okay, then.
My issue with all this, just before you move on, Nathan, is that Arwen, you can't claim that the only example of a non-local hologram that you can give us is the things that you're claiming are non-local holograms.
I can claim
No.
whatever the fuck I want. I'm not making a
No need.
physics claim.
No need.
I'm simply, I'm
Yeah, but
going to say what I'm going to say. And even if all of you guys are against me, which you aren't right now, I'm still going to say it. And you can try to shame me for doing what I do as much as you like. It's
I'll
not going to
shame you.
make me stop ever.
No.
It'll
Hey,
just
hey,
drive me
no,
away
stop,
to
everyone
talk
stop,
about it
everyone
on my
stop,
own, which
everyone
I
stop,
have for
stop,
the
stop,
last
stop.
7
Alwyn,
years.
you included. No, nobody's trying to shame you. You just made a claim. We're asking you to back it. That's it. The standards don't change just because it's you making a claim or it's just your claim to be description of something. And Brian's absolutely right. If you're going to say it's a non-local hologram, well, what's a local hologram? Well, the only example of the non-local hologram is what I'm calling a non-local hologram. Brian's spot on. What's wrong with that? Don't take it personally. There's no need to swear at him. He's right.
I don't care. I'm still going to keep saying it.
Right, and we're going to keep asking you to back your claim that you're making. That's all.
Yeah, and I can with descriptions, not with physical, tangible proof. I will never be able to personally, scientifically prove it within physics, okay? But I'm right, and I'm going
you're
to
not.
turn out to be right, and I have nothing but time to show for it.
You might
And
be
I
right.
will.
No, you're not right. You might be right.
Oh, I am right, and
you're
I
not. You
will
might
turn
be.
out to be right.
At best, you might be.
Yeah, I know I will.
Right, but being right would mean you've got evidence to back it, and we're going to ask every time because we're just as intrigued. The fact that it's you coming up with it doesn't mean we won't take it as seriously every time you come up with something. And it doesn't mean that we'll go, oh, all right, that might be true. At best, you might be right, but we'd like to know that you are right. Or we can get to the stage where you haven't got anything to back that claim, therefore it's just a baseless assertion. Sorry, that's how it is. Don't have to take it personally.
Oh, and I respect your opinion. So when you come out with this stuff, I want to know why. I want to know the rationale behind it.
Me too.
It's not necessarily
Well,
to...
not that much. Not
True.
that much, because you all still rumpus over me as I try to give a delicate explanation
Ugh,
to
my
adapt to
bleeding heart.
your refined inquiry. And then you do. You've done this all this show.
Right, while he moans about rumpusing, I'm going to rumpus him with a super chat. Shout out to Sensual Goat. May I ask who from the panel and Discord are appearing tomorrow at Speaker's Corner? Wow, what a wonderful segue, Sensual Goat. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the support with the Super Chat.
I think it's Sunday, Speaker's Corner.
Neil's obviously at Speaker's Corner. Let him go, Adam. Go ahead, Neil.
Go on, Neil.
It's too loud over here.
Thank you for letting us know during the live show. After a beautiful segue, paid £10 for it.
Thank you, Neil. Now we can all move on to a less uncomfortable subject. Right, guys?
Nobody's uncomfortable except you.
Oh, no, I'm not uncomfortable at all. I'm Renault right where I am, and I am going to be here another 7 years if I need to. Doing
Okay.
exactly what I am.
Arwen.
You be you.
Arwen. Sorry, Nate.
I don't need any rebuttal to that. There is no rebuttal there. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you can't change my mind. And you don't need to convince me that it's not compatible with the way you do things here, because that's not going to make me stop doing that.
We want to be free to do what we want to do. We want to get loaded, have a good time.
You're right. No matter how much you rumpus me.
And no one's got any problem with you being right. We're just asking you to apply the same standards here that we do to everybody else when we make a claim. Anyway, so I don't think Speaker's Corner is on Saturday. I'm pretty sure it's Sunday, traditionally. And then from there, I won't read it all out, but if I could just quickly screen share, you can have a look yourselves. I'm obviously planning on being there in Nottingham, which is Tuesday the 19th. I'm trying to see if Nathan fancies turning up for either the Gloucester or Birmingham one, which is Thursday and Friday, Thursday the 14th or Friday the 15th. And if Nathan's going to one of those, I shall try and make it to that one as well.
Birmingham or Gloucester?
Well, that seems nearest to you, doesn't it, in terms of what's on the route?
Yeah, I mean, it makes no odds wherever it's England, right? Nowhere's far.
No. But I don't know if you were planning, but if you are, I'll try and make it that day and give you the banner as well.
14th/15th in Birmingham or Gloucester.
Yeah. Gloucester on the 14th, Birmingham the 15th. Friday.
Do you know where in Birmingham? Because that's a big place.
I'll find out. It'll be on there.
If it's a nice part of Birmingham, then yeah.
Is the one. Bourneville. That's nice.
Bourneville? Bourneville's not nice.
I like it.
That's all right. There's a bit of countryside. You mean it's not very cityfied? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
You mean it's not very Birmingham? It's got some fields as opposed to skyrise. Okay. All right, yeah, I'll find out. 14th/15th, Gloucester or Birmingham. I'll see if I've got anything planned with the kids or something. If I have, then I can't. If I haven't, then I will.
Cool.
Thank you for the super chat again, Central Goat. Really appreciate the support. What other dates are there?
Well, that's what I was just going to add. Obviously, the other one, I think we spoke to Sleeping Warrior. Tony's on about Preston, because it's just around the corner from him. So we might turn up to that one. Other than that, I know Neil Costantino's trying to get there, but I'm not sure.
Excellent. So they're up and down the country.
I
over
will
next
be
week,
there
basically.
because I'm on the poster.
Yeah. But yeah, so there you go, guys. I'll try and get some more updates for next Monday, and that I'll give a few bits and bobs. I'm sure there'll be a few more.
They're starting Monday, right? They start on Monday.
They're starting as the super chat said. They're starting at Speaker's Corner. On I'm pretty sure it's Sunday. I stand to be corrected, Saturday, and then it's back to Plymouth for Monday, and then it'll follow that itinerary.
At Hyde Park, London, right?
Yeah, at Speaker's Corner, yeah.
So Speaker's Corner, Hyde Park, London, Sunday. Just in case this is the last opportunity to plug it, because this is the last live show before the weekend. I don't normally mention it, but obviously if we're going to encourage people to go to Speaker's Corner, do you know if there's anybody there specifically?
Yeah, they're all there. Jason, I assume Rox will be there. Harry, the original instigator of all this tour in the UK, will be there. I know Dave Murphy's due to get on a few dates, so he's more likely to be on the London one. And also Trinity 4's been in touch with me, Dave Mannon. He's doing quite a few dates. I think him, Andrew and his son, ZZ will be with them. I'm meeting up with them in Nottingham for definite. So quite a few faces, I think, from YouTube land and also some of the more prominent speakers. There's a funny bit I saw, nothing to do with Flat Earth per se. It was Speaker's Corner is quite a big thing where people debate, and it's got a bit monotonous recently. And one of the guys and a bit just kind of just religious arguments. And there was this sick guy just saying, "Look, come on, guys, let's get back to the old Speaker's Corner. Even you Flat Earthers, come on back. You were at least refreshing for down there." So I think it's been a while. So I think this is the return of Flat Earth.
Who said that? Backhanded.
It was just some guy that comments on Speaker's Corner doing just who goes round interview, because there's some really good debates down there. So that's a constant stream that on Sundays from down there. But sometimes he'd cover the Flat Earth stuff, but a lot of it's the kind of Muslim.
You end up debating face to face. I'll end up in a fist fight with someone, won't I?
Not if you go to Speaker's Corner, it can get a bit tasty, but certainly on the streets here, no, because the worst you get is people ridiculing, walking off. Or like yesterday when I picked the poster up, I said to him, so he had to go at any other questions then. Well, he said, I know the first one. It's 93 million miles to the sun.
Distance to the sun is the first question, right?
Yeah. So I did say, well, it's not so much can you research the answer from their rhetoric. It's do you know why and how they've derived that, and do you think it's valid? Oh, and this is when he went. So this is a common thing you'll get if which is a runaway line, which is, oh yeah, I looked into all that years ago, and I don't believe any of it.
AKA, I don't know and couldn't tell you now. I'm put on the spot.
Yeah.
Lack of honesty.
Now, people just don't want to seem dumb. Lack of humility. Maybe they did look into it years ago, but looking into something years ago doesn't mean that you've got a good expert knowledge in it. You might have a vague knowledge about something that you specifically bring up yourself that you remember, but typically most people think they've got an outstanding knowledge of heliocentrism. Dunning-Kruger.
Well, hold on. I think a lot of it goes back to their education, because not understanding was shamed in schools. Oh, he doesn't understand. I think that is a lot of the reason that people aren't willing to say that they, just say the truth, that they don't understand it, because they've been shamed into saying they understand when they don't.
I used to understand that stuff. It doesn't sound as good as I used to know all about that stuff. I understand it, just can't remember how to explain it now on the spot. Therefore, I'm not stupid, and I'm not worthy of ridicule for not understanding how this complicated heliocentric system works, which, let's be reasonable, although I agree with you, you would have been shamed if you were to declare that you didn't understand this seemingly so basic, obvious nature of our reality kind of stuff when you go through school and sort it. So therefore you'll disclaim that you do understand it, regardless of how good your knowledge is. And it wouldn't be unfair to say most people shouldn't be expected to understand complex mathematics of heliocentric nonsense. Why would they?
After John, I want to say something.
I was just going to say they've confused understanding and comprehension. They're not synonyms. One is derivative of the other.
Right.
My experience growing up in the school system, coming from another country, was I challenged everything. I had a language issue to begin with. So if you've never challenged something, how do you expect as an adult to be? You're programmed. You got to be unprogrammed to challenge something.
Adam was in the middle of his example. Was that the end of the example?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll find out if I can attend on one of those two dates, 14th or 15th. Gloucester or Birmingham, and hopefully.
That'd be cool. You might be able to do a live stream or.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't live stream anymore because I've not got 1,000. So I obviously used to do it on the Iron Realm channel. So, but my channel's still well short of 1,000 subs. Hit that subscribe button, people. Actually, that'd be really handy.
Hey, Adam, if Nathan comes, he'll be a banner of a day, wouldn't it?
Stick your channel in the live stream chat. Go subscribe to Adam. He does produce content here and there.
I should pop more in. Divergent Droid's been doing me a good favour, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a great mod.
Yeah, it's been pimping it, but it might be worth doing a little stream from there, Nathan. It could be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if I attend one of them, hopefully I can. Should we move on in housekeeping? 45 minutes into the show. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Oh, what is it, Nathan?
It's the conceptual medium known as space-time bending as a result of the uneven distribution of mass in Einsteinian vernacular. Currently taught to school children, however, is Newtonian mass attracting mass. Neither are true.
Yeah, I would say the current one is a concept, and we can't even ever test it. And then the old one, there's no evidence for it.
Yeah, there's no physical demonstrable evidence of their claim to be physical demonstrable mass attracting mass, so they moved it into the conceptual realm of pseudo-Ramonian force space-time bending. Because then there's nothing physical to test or show that it doesn't happen physically, because it's not happening physically, it's happening conceptually in a realm that doesn't exist, that's fourth dimensional.
So it's an inaccurate description of a phenomenon you can't observe.
You can't observe it, you can describe it in the pseudo-Ramonian force space-time mathematics.
Inaccurately.
When you say
question.
Hold on. When you say inaccurately, do you mean as in the problem with only having one position to measure, and what do you mean inaccurately? Does it not work within the convention?
Well, no, it can't because you're applying an R value to the Earth.
Ah, right. I should have seen this coming a mile away. Right. No, you can't. Yeah, you're right. It need to violate an assumption that you've violated when you talk about the Earth being a sphere shape moving around the sun in that description of force space-time bending with the gravitational accretion and gravitational wells and all things sphere-shaped. You'll need an R value. And in order to get it, you'll need to measure a flat plane and derive your sphere-shaped Earth that's causing fourth-dimensional space-time to bend from a flat plane origin. Indeed, you're going to need R, and you'll need a flat plane to get it.
Just on that question, is there any scientific evidence of gravity? For the layman, I mean, I think maybe it might be good to take all the questions, all the housekeeping questions, and just ask them, just do like an alternative version of the questions. So what this question is really asking is, so every time I go to speak, for whatever reason, Nathan, every time I go to speak, and it's going on for ages, someone keeps on echoing me. So whether that's intentional or not, I don't know. But I just said I'd let you know. But the question really is, what is scientific evidence? And does the current or former claims of gravity meet what scientific evidence is? Meet that definition? Because that's the breakdown of that question, isn't it? Because scientific evidence, yeah, gravity is scientific. It's all scientific. There's loads of scientific evidence for it. Is that what scientific evidence? So what is scientific evidence? And does gravity, current or former claims concerning it, meet that definition? Because most people don't know what scientific evidence is anyway. That's the problem. So they could just say yeah and think that it's right, including PhDs. There's a lot of them out there that don't even know that.
Okay, so scientific evidence, to define it, would be a validated hypothesis. And a hypothesis would be a natural phenomena with a presumed cause to vary. So to be a piece of scientific evidence, it would mean you've varied and manipulated a presumed cause of an effect you've studied in nature and proven that that presumed cause did actually cause the effect. That would be validation of hypothesis. If A, then B, or if A, not B, is a scientific prediction, aka hypothesis. And if you vary A to see if it causes B, and it does cause B, that's a valid hypothesis. Upon validation of a hypothesis based on a phenomena you want to study, that would be the definition of scientific evidence.
Exactly. So it would start with a phenomena. So what's the phenomena, the current phenomena for gravity?
There isn't one.
And what was the former phenomena? This is even more bizarre.
107 years ago, it was mass attracting mass.
And was that a phenomena? What was the phenomena? Because that was the claim. That was the claimed cause. What was the claimed phenomena?
No, that's the claimed phenomena. So, in a in a hypothesis, their hypothesis for the 107-year out of date, in name only Newtonian gravitation, is if mass, so mass is your presumed cause, then mass attracts mass. That's your dependent variable.
I can give that as a phenomenon.
Mass attracting mass is the phenomena, according to them. It just
Right,
doesn't happen.
But if the Earth was a sphere and things were falling towards its center, which neither one of those statements are true, Earth's not a sphere and things aren't falling towards its center.
Yeah, but it's not even a phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon because we don't witness mass attracting mass. We witness objects falling towards the ground. That's what we witness.
Releases helium balloon, looks up at cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry for coming in a bit loud. Yeah, exactly. But the point is that was the phenomena that they hijacked. And that's why all these people out there in the world think there's this downward bias. You know,
it's not a phenomenon, though.
Well, it is a phenomenon. The fact that something falls, that's a phenomenon. Or
No,
something rises, that's a phenomenon.
No,
is it not?
that is the same phenomena. So I only know this because Anthony had to formulate a hypothesis when he did his experiment. So the natural phenomena is some things remain static in equilibrium, some things go up, some things go down. That's what you're studying.
Yeah, but you don't know that until you've validated the cause. You don't know the reason why something goes down and something else goes up.
Right,
you just know that thing goes down and this thing goes up. You know?
I know, but that's the phenomena you're studying.
Right.
I know, but you don't realise that there's one phenomena. So it was 1 second, John. What I'm saying is that you don't realise there's one phenomena. You don't know if there's two. Because they're different things.
Nah, there's just some things go up, some things go down, some things don't move at all.
Well, yeah, but my point is that if you release a helium balloon and drop your phone, you can't assert until you've proven the cause of that whole thing. You don't know if there's a different reason for the balloon going up than there is for the phone going down. That's my point.
Hold on. Asserting the cause and observing the phenomenon are not the same thing.
Right. That's your supposition. At that stage, all you've got to do at this stage, step one of the scientific method, is observe a phenomena. Now, the fact that in one instance something's going up and the other instance is going down, phone versus helium balloon in this example, doesn't alter the fact that they are in fact one and the same phenomena.
Oh, I totally agree. They are the same phenomena. But I'm just saying, if you go back a couple of 100 years, and the best people are going to see as far as something rising will be steam. Most ordinary people, the only thing they would see rising would be steam off of boiling water. Whereas most things that they would see would just go down. And they wouldn't even put two and two together as to why some things float. They wouldn't really be, the knowledge wasn't there on physics, as to how the piece of wood floating on water is connected to the piece of wood falling down through air. They wouldn't have put those two together yet. So they just would have had the phenomenon of things falling down. And they came up with this. It must be a force, they came up with this. There's a force somewhere pulling it down or whatever way they wanted to first described it, they didn't realize that they were just wrong. That the thing going down wasn't only one part of the phenomenon. They didn't know that. Would be like, you know what I mean? So they just saw things go down.
Yes, but
And
then
they wouldn't have.
in the year of our Lord 2019, the Right Honourable Anthony Riley proved with scientific validity that it was the relative density of the medium.
Yeah, 100% he did. And I don't disagree with that. I'm 100% behind that. But people didn't take that into account when the claim of gravity, like what I'm saying, it was easy to get the masses to believe in that there's a mass attracting mass thing going on, because the masses just thought everything just went down, and they didn't see the connection between water and air, you know, or rock, you know, solid, liquid, gas. They didn't plasma. Plasma wasn't even around then, you know. Well, it wasn't known about, you know. So they didn't know these things. So it was easy to get people to believe that there was a phenomena where everything went down.
But the trick was they weren't just tricking the populace; they were tricking people that expertise was supposedly in the scientific method. So that's a whole different animal to try to tame.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why. I'm just saying they single out the things. My point being is it was easy for them to single out that things fall down, as that's the phenomena, and focus on that as being the phenomena, and ignore that steam is going up or that wood floats on water but it falls through air. You know, things like that. It was easy to ignore those things and just get people to focus on the thing they drop out of their hand falls to the floor.
Yeah, it's just affirming their bias, though, isn't it?
Ignorance, affirming their ignorance. You know, and maybe bias if they weren't ignorant, but
Bias if they already
have
had
a bias.
predisposition to gravity, I think, is when Brian's saying that, confirming their ignorance.
Well, I think, you know, to live on a sphere, right? You can't live on a sphere unless there's some kind of force that's holding you to that sphere, and that's how they rationalized it. They were just looking for a phenomenon to fit that, and that's why they singled out things going down.
Right. Down is always to the centre of a sphere, regardless of your position. And if all things are going down, then all things are going to the centre of the sphere. They just affirm the consequent with the logic, and then they look for a phenomenon that describes that. Well, we need something always going down and down to the centre of a sphere, so let's just look at anything that goes down. Oh, well, that's everything. Just ignore those clouds.
John, any word on your upcoming debate?
Should this just happen like the next day? Sorry to talk straight over you when he asked you personally. I was thinking about it, and I meant to talk about it for the whole live show, just as about to get the lights ready and all the rest of it. Why didn't it just happen immediately? All I've heard about this debate, sorry, I know I'm going to drag out when you should just be answering him. The terms of what you'll be debating, shouldn't that be on the show? Shouldn't it just been this time, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after? Oh, I'm not free till the weekend. Why is it dragged on for several weeks? What's going on?
This is what I've run into every time one of them supposedly taking me up on the challenge. You know, it just turns into chasing your tail. Like they want you to set it up for some reason when you're giving every concession.
What does he want? He wants to go through the debate itself via email prior to the debate. And that's what seems to be happening. And then the debate never happens. It's like, what, because they lose in the email exchange prior to the debate? I don't really understand why it doesn't just happen the next day. He said he wants to do it. You've said you'll do it wherever he likes. You said you'll concede to whatever he wants. What? Let me just tell the audience why. It's because the Earth's flat, and they have to concede to that in this particular debate. Do you want to just expand on that before I round out the live show, John?
Well, to have a debate, you need a point of contention. There needs to be a contentious point to debate over. And because what we've discovered about the elevation angle and the celestial sphere model, there conceding the argument immediately before they can invoke any of their claims. So it's over. There isn't debate.
I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, hit the PayPal and thanks button, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!